So, what are you?
Ah, I am a vampire, as you would call it. That's the slang term. Kindred would be what most would call it. I am of I am of Clan Hakata. There are 13 of those, but formerly Clan Giovanni.
Clan Giovanni. So that's your real name. It wasn't an alias.
No, I was born Dante Giovanni. Formerly, my clan was a big, happy family. And I mean that quite literally. We were a family. There is a mortal bloodline, and we would only embrace into that. I myself was born Dante Giovanni at about before your country really existed. I was, yeah, it was a good time back then, back before freedom got in the way.
Before freedom, how old are you?
Oh, like I said, before your country. It was early 1700s when I was born. And unfortunately, when I was born, my very first act, as my grandfather likes to say, was killing my mother, as she died. To be perfectly clear, I don't think that was my fault. Either way, my father would remarry within before I was 3, and he would die before I was 7, leaving me to be raised by my grandfather, who at the time was a vampire. And trust me, when you're being raised by a vampire, things don't always go well for development. Before I was 10, I had killed a boy. You know, normal kid things. They're chasing you, you run upstairs, you throw bricks at their heads. One of them dies. Eh, it happens. Then when I was 10 was probably the most important day of my life. You see, in the family we have these ideas of keeping the children safe. But when I was 10, somebody very important came to my 10-year-old birthday party and hijacked it and made it a clan meeting for the vampires. I won't say his name, as it would probably be wrong for me to say it to such a fresh ghoul. But he was an idol. And when I asked who he was, they told me he was our patriarch. And one person called him our antediluvian. And that's when I really started to get a picture of what's going on. I knew there was something freaky going on. But by the time I was 15, I had a wife. Back in those days, it wasn't uncommon to be married that young. And before I was 20, I had children, too. My boy and my girl. My boy would not live past the age of 17, and my girl is still alive today. Then, before long, I would earn the embrace. And at this point, the person who was going to embrace me was mysteriously died. It was another person from my stepmother's side. As when my father died, she left with my half sister, and I never saw her again, or at least not in life. Uh, and I had already earned the embrace, but the embracer was dead, so there was a shuffle to see who would embrace me. This ended up being my grandfather, as he had sway and attempted to keep control of his bloodline. He didn't want me being embraced into one of his enemies' lines, mainly because the family tends to do that to keep cohesion, and he just didn't want to have to deal with that, especially since my wife was from one of his enemies' mortal lines. So I get embraced. I pal around Europe for a bit. I'm go to Paris, to Spain. I was there during the revolution. Made a lot of money selling people guns and then selling other people guns who didn't like the first people with guns. It was a good time. Eventually, I would get to Greece, where I would meet my mentor. Uh, he would travel with me into the Ottoman Empire and show me what he had lost while we was there. I would keep him hidden from the family, but I wasn't good enough at that, as they had learned. And I was punished for keeping hidden what I knew. But after my punishment, and after the Great War, I was sent to London.
What happened in London?
Oh, you see, London used to be led by a war god. Mithras, the ancient war god from somewhere in the Middle East. I don't know. I don't remember much of it. He wiped most of my mind. I don't care to remember a lot of it, his teachings. During that time, I was infiltrating for two purposes. You see, we had a plan, and we needed to make sure we had a foothold in London when the plan came to an end, or came to fruition. And then two, it was believed that an ancient enemy of the clan and family was in London, under the name Pater Thomas, Pater being a title in the cult of Mithras. I was to investigate both of these things. I was to investigate him and prepare London for the plan. I didn't last more than 20 years reporting in before he had his clutches in me. And once he did not let go. Before long, I would help recruit allies for his little team. The one of which was Miss Amert, who is a recent reacquaintance of mine. I am glad to see her again. And then there was the ghost and the assassin. Pray you don't meet the assassin. She is a bit of a handful. From there, we would be placed in torpor during the late 1900s, early 20s, or 2000s. Sorry, not used to saying that one. And from there, we would wake up in 2012, when what is colloquially known by many kindred as the fall of London happened. During that time, the powers he had had over us started to wane. I like to take credit for this because I did try to replace his coal powder with other things and try to change certain aspects of his rituals in a hope to break free with what little willpower I had, or what little free will I had. But most kindred will write that off. And I don't blame them. I don't mind it personally. By the end of it, the war god was dead, and the individual that was sent to spy on, well, I confirmed his name. And the family knows where he is now. And I am not going to let him get away in the end. It was a terrible time to be a kindred in London. So many died as the SI came. But that time has passed, and since then I have reunited with my family, only to find about a third of them dead. You see, while I was away, a great reunion happened where all those people we hated because they were like us but not quite, we got together with them. Now, I'm not one to say, yes, let's hate them all. I've been friends with kindred from all over. But still, it kind of sucks my wife died because she wasn't okay with it.
So, you're not gonna kill me now, are you? Because I know too much?
What is it? What was the name of Dracula's ghoul? Renfield?
I don't read that often.
Okay. There's a saying in Kindred Society. Some ghouls are called your Renfields. Congratulations. This is you being promoted to that. You will be my man for now and on.
I don't have to change my name, do I? I kind of grew fond of Noah Davids.
Oh, don't worry about that, Noah. Don't worry at all. You won't have to change it, at least not to Kindred Society. But just like I am known as Thomas Sharp in, as my public face, those sorts of things will come. And don't worry, there are many members of the family who can do that for you.
One hell of a life, Mr. Giovanni. Um, all right, well, I guess all I've got left is what the hell are we going to Columbus for?
To put it simply, I am at a loss for what to do with my family. I don't know what is going on, and if I'm going to interact with them, I need to first know myself. I am here to learn myself and from the local kindred of this city, and maybe, just maybe, take over. Because, to put it in its most blatant terms, I'm learning. That is why Julian Clay is here. Because I want to get to know another member of my new extended family. If I had met Julian Clay 10 years ago, I would have tried to kill him. I'm trying to learn. And I'm starting small. There are no family members here. So I only have to learn to like one of them. And if I can do that, I can prove that I can prove to myself that I can move on. That I can become a true member of the Hakata. If I can't, well, I guess I'll be killed like my wife. But I'll go down swinging.